Hey y'all. I hope y'all happy Friday. I hope y'all had a good week. If not, just know it's over. Trust me, I get it. I had a rough week. But nevertheless, Love is Blind, season 4, episode 12, Eternal Bliss. Okay. Let me just start by saying I didn't expect any of these couples to say I do except for Tiffany and Brett. And they did. Okay, but everybody else, I didn't expect any of these people to do that. So let's go ahead and just address Tiffany and Brett, who we love, who is clearly the crowd favorite, who are two people who found each other in pods, and who normally I would say this is some bullshit. You know, people can't fall in love like that. Some people find each other. Lauren and that other guy on the first season, Tiffany and Brett. So they're getting ready for their wedding day. And, Tiffany's kind of nervous, whatever, stuff like that. Brett is getting ready, and Brett's outfit is baggy. And, his brother says to him, like, well, my shirt is tight as hell, whatever. And he was like, no, that's not the point. Does this look like me? Does this look like me? And his brother was like, well, don't get aggro with me, bruh. He said, I'm not getting aggro with you. I'm telling you, this doesn't look like me. And I was like, no, Brett, what's going on? Brett left his wedding venue, went to a tailor shop to get his pants to fit right because this is his wedding day and he didn't want no mistakes. Let me tell y'all something. Brett, baby. Let me tell you something. I wish I would have met you before Tiffany did, okay? Because I would have kept you. Let me tell you something. You all right with me. And I just thought that was such a sweet act. He wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be late. No, it was like, I need this within this time, this time. He got his pants fitted. He wanted to look good for Tiffany, honey. Good. And he knew what he was talking about because he designed those shoes. I ain't mad. So, Tiffany's mother is with her. Her friends are there. They're supportive. Tiffany's father goes to meet Brett because I kept wondering. I was like, when are we going to meet him? He goes, he has a quick sit down with him and just says, as long as she's happy, I'm happy. And, I think Tiffany has a very supportive family, a loving family. And when she got ready to walk down the aisle and her father said, I think Brett is a good guy. I really do. I like him for you. And that made me feel good. And I think that was a source of relief for Tiffany that her family approved of him. And Brett they are just so right for each other. They really are. And it just gives me a different kind of hope. Because I remember saying as I watched, I said, if this don't work out, ain't no hope for 35-year-old me. And I ain't even stressed about getting married. But still, it was something about the beauty of people falling in love and being together. Like, I'm not worried about them. I think they are both wonderful people who can make it through anything because of the kind of people they are. And that's another example of why people shouldn't rush to get married so early. Sometimes you need to grow and be on your own. And when Brett said, yeah, I never wanted to get married before I had my stuff together and I could provide and take care of my family. Yes, that is what a man is supposed to do. Okay, and ain't nobody about to get me with no gender role bullshit. If you have a man in your life, I don't give a fuck how much you work and how much money you make. That motherfucker needs to be working and making more. Or bringing the same thing to the table. My great uncle taught me that. No. I don't see it as a badge of honor that a man is okay being taken care of. That's me. I don't care. I ain't going back on it. Anyway, they both say yes. And, you could tell Brett was completely sure. It took Tiffany a second to say it. She's crying. She was like, I didn't expect him to be crying. And then Brett was crying. It was just black love. Tiffany and Brett, I wish y'all the best. They were sitting on the back of that truck talking. They was happy to be together. Did y'all see Marshall show up? Marshall was like, man, I ain't gonna lie, it's hard to be here. Marshall, you and Jackie knew y'all ain't had no business together. Especially since you used her as an experiment. You ain't hear Brett say no crazy shit like that to Tiffany, because if he did, it would have been all over the camera. But while I'm on it, was it something this season about the way Tiffany was captured on camera? Made me think, I don't know. I don't know who's behind production, whether it's white people, whether it was a black man, but something just said to me, if she's a beautiful woman, so it's hard to get like bad shots of her and stuff like that. I don't know, just even the way that I felt like they kind of sexualized her a bit. Not because they weren't having sex, but it was just like the camera angles. And something just gave me the vibe that either some man behind the camera was attracted to her and mad, okay, that she was with Brett, or yeah, that's actually what I think. It may seem weird, but it's just the vibe I get. Tiffany and Brett, we love y'all together. I wish y'all the best. I hope y'all have a big, beautiful family because y'all are two wonderful people. Period. All right. If anything else comes up, I'll go back over it. But nevertheless, let's get to Kwame and Chelsea. That's where the episode started, but that's not where I wanted to start. I wanted to start with my favorite two people on this show. So Kwame and Chelsea, let me tell you something. I just fucking knew Kwame was gonna say no. And the bottom line is these motherfuckers don't have no business getting married, especially since his residence is in Portland and hers is in Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington. And y'all haven't decided on everything, and you are taking care of her dog and shit and all this other stuff. And granted, people do that when they love each other, but not when they known each other no damn 6 fucking weeks. Let me tell you something, Chelsea. I liked you for many of the episodes. I thought you were a good listener. I thought you were a reasonable person. You know, you was rocking with the black girls because you was not trying to fuck with the mean girls. But my thing with you, Chelsea, and I'm going to tell you what bothered me. Kwame, y'all know how I feel about him. I don't like him, but there are things that I didn't like about Chelsea as time went on. I don't like all this up in his face and rubbing him. It doesn't come off to me as affection. It comes off to me as this sort of racist, like, I own you, so I'm going to control your movements. And if it aggravates you, you can't really do anything back to me because I still know I'm a white woman. And some of y'all may think that's a stretch. I don't. It makes me uncomfortable as I watch it. It makes me really uncomfortable. And I have had a talk with a black man who told me at one point, very close to me, and said, you know, I've dated white women. And I wasn't necessarily asking him, we were chilling. So it wasn't like a, you know, why do you do this? And he said, the one thing that has bothered me the most about any white woman I dated is the expectation that you're supposed to do everything for them. And he was like, it took me a second to realize this isn't like a regular relationship demand, you know, where women expect men to do certain things. They presume that's your role, and that in and of itself is racist, the expectation of service from a black person. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And he was like, and the real offensive part about it is they also expect you to talk badly about black women. And so, and they know black men do talk badly about black women. And I was like, yeah, they do. Y'all do that a lot, and you do it in public, and it's nasty, and it's rude, and it's hurtful to us. Whether we want you or not, that's not the point. You individually, that's not the point. And he was like, and with that, they feel like, yeah, you're going to do all this for me because you hate black women. And that hit him as offensive. And I've seen this way. I've seen white women do this to Asian men. I was out there in California, because there's a large population of Asian people out there. And it bothers me, the idea of ownership over these people's bodies. It doesn't come off to me as love and affection. And if he would have left your ass at the fucking altar, you would have deserved it. And I'm going to tell you what else pisses me off about this. Kwame don't want her like that. And it's clear. They don't have any chemistry. I don't care how much they fuck. They don't have any chemistry. But the other issue I have with Kwame and Chelsea was Kwame's second choice. He asked Micah to marry him. She turned him down, laughed about it, didn't care, joked about it, didn't care. And he was still at the pool party, hard flirting with her, and she was flirting with him. Season 2, when I finally figured out her name, Ayana and Gerald were on there. And Gerald asked the Latino girl to marry him first. And she said no. And then he asked Ayana. We were not able to get away from that part of the story the whole rest of the fucking season. We were not allowed to get away from it. And those two, they had like a weird incident when the group got together in Mexico. But they constantly brought that up for this black woman. Whereas Chelsea, even the way they've depicted her this season, is not as the second choice. That was something we get to scrap. We get to forget about that. And I don't believe it's because they didn't have those conversations. I believe that they protect the image of white women. You see how much Irina still got brought up in regards to Bliss. And we can say, yeah, they chose to marry them or whatever. But so did Chelsea. How come it wasn't brought up? And that's the shit that pisses me off. Chelsea and Kwame, y'all are not gonna last. Whatever y'all was on reality TV to do, I would say I hope you accomplished it, but I don't. I don't want to see y'all no more. Anyway, Paul and no, you know what? I'm gonna say Paul and Micah for last. Zach and Bliss. You couldn't have told me, because they are born together. I don't want to hear nothing else about them. But Bliss, you are a very beautiful woman. I do think you always look like you want to cry though, and I'm not sure why. She may be dealing with depression. Zach, I'm over it, right? But you know, Papa Shaw showed up to the wedding. I said, oh shit. I said he is not gonna be here for that. And I just knew Bliss had a larger plan and a larger goal, and that was to embarrass the fuck out of Zach the way he embarrassed her in those pods. And I said, watch. I said, now watch. I said, ain't no way in hell all these couples except one is gonna say yes. Zach and Bliss both said yes. Ain't that about a bitch? Her father was like, you're not second choice. It's. She said, well, it's gonna be all right. He's like, yeah, it's always gonna be all right because you're gonna always have your family. Yes, Papa Shaw. Don't let her believe this is her only option or her choice. Papa Shaw, now he's somebody who need a radio show. Just call him for advice. He gonna give it to you real. I thought she was gonna say no. Now if she would have got there and said no to embarrass him, I would have gone up for Bliss for about 6 months. Hard motherfucking core. But she didn't. And he was like, yeah, we take a vacation. She was like, yeah, he owes me a vacation, but not in Mexico. I said, you right. He a lawyer, go and get your coins. Anyway. Okay, so they're over. They're born. Paul and Micah. Micah, you are a very beautiful woman. And I've said that, but you're a mean girl. And you grew on me a bit. But I think you grew on me because you didn't have mean girls around you. And you needed to fit in with the cast. You ran out the rooms, the pods, laughing at people when they came out crying, this, that, and the other. You got the proposal from Paul. Y'all kept talking about how much y'all loved each other. And my thing with them was they can never give examples. Tiffany and Brett, in that short amount of time, they were with each other. And that's how you could tell they were really spending time getting to fucking know each other. Tiffany could tell you, I care about him because of this. He's always thinking about me. He's doing this. He does this. He acts of love. You know what I mean? Brett can say, I love this about her. I can see myself growing with her. I know we can have good kids. She's thoughtful. She's caring. She's kind. She does this for me. She does that for me. Paul and Michael just like, yeah, we love each other, obviously. Love is blind. We fell in love in the pods. Okay. Micah, I know you knew he was going to say no, and you tried to save face as much as fucking possible. When your ass got up there and they was reading the vows and you said, I'm going to give you the honor of going first. And he was like, it got real quiet, and he was like, I'm going to have to say no. She was like, something, and she goes, wow. Or, something to that extent. And he was like, look, I love you, that's obvious. I was like, no, it's not. She lives in fucking Arizona, you live in Seattle, and weren't neither one of y'all willing to compromise on where y'all live. What the fuck? How the fuck this bitch get casted for this? Ain't you supposed to live kind of in the same area? Now, I can understand the Portland and Seattle thing. I just don't think Kwame and Chelsea are for each other. I think that's 3 hours is too far, but it's doable. Okay? Scottsdale, Arizona, Seattle, Washington, quit playing with me. Okay? And he was not willing to move. And remember, I told y'all, I said, he ain't ready to get married. Because when you're ready to get married, even if it sucks, you'll all figure it out. Well, she just said, something. I can't believe this. I need to go. And she basically runs down the stairs into whatever, I guess the bridal suite. Speaking of which, Tiffany and Brett was getting on the bridal suite, and I wasn't mad at them. Or at least that's what they said. So she runs back, and her friend Shelby, remember the one I told you I was real fat in the face? She's giving me real vibes, like she gay, and don't want her best friend to be married because she like her. And her friend was like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? And she was like, yes, that's exactly how I wanted it to go. I said, you bitch. Now, Michael, on the other hand, it makes sense that you have friends like that because you a bitch. Okay, and y'all are mean girls. Okay, but the problem with being like that is y'all end up being like that toward each other. You can't have no real friends. Just like you was rocking with Irina and she fucked Paul in a second. Get the fuck out of here. Now, when she ran out, I'm gonna tell you the part that was alarming to me. When she ran out, and she did run, nobody, nobody ran behind her. It took a second for Paul to walk down and walk behind her. I was like, where is your mom? Your mama eventually came back there. Your daddy, your homegirls, nobody ran after you to make sure you were okay. And then Paul follows her and he's like, first of all, what he said on the altar, he was like, look, it's just not good for me. And what is good for me is good for us. No, motherfucker. That's not how that works. Something might be good for me and terrible for you. If I decide that I live in Baltimore and decide to move to New York and your job is stationed in Baltimore, just because it's good for you to move to New York doesn't mean it's good for me to move to New York. Like, what the fuck kind of logic is that? That's some bullshit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Then he follows her and he goes, look. And she was like, I just think you need to leave. I just think you need to leave. And she couldn't have said that shit any calmer. But let me tell you something. I would have started throwing shoes, something. Because, motherfucker, you're not getting the point. But you know her mother has health issues. That's probably why her mother didn't run after her. But she came in there and she was like, you know what? It's probably best this way. Mama wasn't feeling that wedding, but you know, sometimes you can't say something until after it's over. And so I was here for that. And I was just like, and her friends, you know, try to pretend like they're careful. The fact that you were on screen laughing, it was like, this is exactly how I expected it to go. That's some bitchy shit. I can say that as a viewer, but that's not my homegirl. And I damn sure wouldn't say it at her fucking wedding. These motherfuckers are so full of shit. Now, this live event, I'm going to be watching. But let me tell y'all something. They better not fuck with me. Because this is done, what, like a year before? I'm trying to figure out. These people cannot come on my screen talking about they married. Okay? Chelsea and Kwame, y'all ain't married. Y'all better not be married. Fuck all y'all. Tiffany and Brett, I'm happy. I hope to hear that y'all are expecting. That's how much I love y'all. Zach and Bliss, you could do better. So we shall see. But I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll see y'all for Love and Marriage Huntsville. The Black Comic Book Festival is being held at the Schomburg Center in New York. Whether you live in New York or not, you can live stream it. But the Black Comic Book Festival is good for graphic novels. Just stuff that's good for adults, but also, good for kids, but also good for adults. You'd be surprised the things that you learn. And I'm a comic head, and I'm really big on Afrofuturism, as you can tell. Afrofuturism. I went to the Black National Museum of African American History and Culture on Wednesday with my students, so it was fun. But anyway, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.